bitter 23-year-old Missouri man and a teenage girl were arrested after throwing a series of lit Molotov cocktails at a Sauce on the Side restaurant he was fired from. The incidents began at around 6:15 p.m. on the 30th of April, when former employee Rashad Cotton started driving around St. Charles in his silver Hyundai Elantra with a 16-year-old girl, a 26-year-old woman, and a baby as his passengers, tossing lit Molotov cocktails from his car window. To test the effectiveness of the explosive, he took the first one into the front garden of a residential street in Grainer Drive, damaging the front yard and then driving off. At around 6:35 p.m, Rashad threw another one at the Sauce on the Side restaurant on Beale Street in the shopping centre, which hit a 29-year-old woman who was sitting on the patio and suffered minor burns to her thigh. The teen then approached the restaurant screaming with a Molotov cocktail in her hand and threw one right in front of about 15 people. A diner chased her around the corner and managed to grab her, before being punched in the face by Rashad, who said to the man, "It doesn't concern you." They then took off in the car, and about 5 minutes later police received a report of the Hyundai crashing near the Bass Pro Shop at North 5th Street, about a mile away from the restaurant. When officers approached Rashad to arrest him, he put up a struggle. 2 officers sustained minor injuries to the hands and resorted to macing him to take him into custody. The 16-year-old was also taken into custody for her role in the attacks. When investigators questioned Rashad about his actions, he explained that he was recently fired from the Sauce on the Side restaurant and was angry about his termination. He was charged with 1 count of arson, 1st and 3rd degree assault, armed criminal action, and resisting arrest. He's been held on a $25,000 cash-only bond. The 16-year-old who assisted Rashad in the attacks is held at the county's juvenile detention centre. It's unclear what the 26-year-old woman's involvement in the case was. An Australian woman was sentenced to 5 years in prison on Tuesday for fatally stabbing a partner in the chest after hurting her feelings after he called her names. The incident occurred around midnight in January of 2020, when 41-year-old Brie Delamata killed her 55-year-old boyfriend Mark Ward at her home, located in Koitaki Court in Heidelberg West in Melbourne. She immediately rang emergency services, and the paramedics and police quickly arrived at the scene and found her partner dead in a pool of blood. She told the investigators that she was feeling frustrated about the time Mark had been spending at her place instead of his own, and was upset when he started verbally abusing her and using hurtful names. She said they had an enjoyable night at a nearby venue just hours earlier, when Mark had a win on the pokies. Things started to go downhill after they returned to Brie's home. When they returned there, Mark went straight to bed. He got up in the middle of the night, and an argument began in the kitchen, which was loud enough for the neighbours to hear. After Mark made some rude comments to her, she became enraged and grabbed a knife. She then plunged it deep into her undressed partner's chest, puncturing his heart. She told the authorities that Mark had not physically threatened her, and that she did not want to hurt him, but she just wanted him to stop being nasty and show some respect. During the sentencing, Mark's estranged wife, daughter and siblings told the court of their pain and disbelief at his death. The judge said Brie grossly overreacted to feelings of hurt and anger she had, and accepted that Brie was remorseful, adding that a persistent depression and disability will make her time more difficult in prison. Brie was initially charged with murder, but pleaded guilty to manslaughter and will spend the next 5 years in prison.